Jarret, our first question is going to come from Greg Hunter.
So, Jarret, the concentrations for you from the spring through the summer in terms of areas you've tried to get better?
Yeah, main focus has been moving in the pocket, realizing when to run and realizing when to take a sack, just situational football. I've gotten a lot better. Just moving in the pocket, maybe one little small movement and making that throw helps a lot. And, just throwing on the run, keeping my body in awkward situations and making throws.
Bob Herzl, do you have a question?
No, thank you.
Okay, you don't? Okay. Keenan Cummings.
Hey, Jarret, how do you go about accomplishing that? That's something the coaches talked about, in the spring too, extending plays in the pocket. You don't necessarily have to be, a scrambler per se, but, being able to buy time, keep your eyes downfield. How do you go about accomplishing that, on your own?
Yeah, so I've been doing a tons of different drills. Just having like maybe a bag right there in my face and making a throw with someone standing right there in my face, or just making that small movement just to get away from the bag and getting a couple inches to where I can make a throw.
Before we take our next question, Jarret, can you turn your phone horizontal, please, for us?
Is that good?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not your phone's not turning, so go back the other way. I was trying to get more of you on camera, but for the guys.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works. They can see more of you. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we'll move on to Kevin Kinder.
Your name, image, and likeness opens up here in a day or so. Just wanted to, not necessarily specifically what you're thinking about or doing, but do players talk about this? Have you guys been, sharing among yourselves any, looking at opportunities? What's the players' perspective on it?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot of stuff, like when it first started coming out, like, all you're thinking about, we can make money, but no one knew exactly what we could do, what we couldn't do. So Coach Brown and Paige, they have done a good job of teaching us what's smart and what's not smart to do. They brought in some people that have talked about contracts, taxes, investing, planning. So that's helped a lot and learning what to do when this thing comes out. But I think there's going to be a lot of learning experiences with it as well. It's hard to tell really what's going to happen, but they've prepared us as well as they could.
Seems like this is, another thing, obviously, that a lot of people in a lot of different sports will have to deal with. Any concern about the time it will take? Is it going to cut down on some guys like video game time or, just recreation time, things like that?
I think it's just going to be a learning experience. We're going to have to figure it out as it goes, really. Like I said, they've told us, they gave us some resources on what to do. But, who knows how it's going to go. And I'm anxious to see how it kind of plays out.
Back to Greg Hunter.
Jarret, with the transfer portal now and more kids doing it, you've done it. What's the hardest adjustment when you go from one school to another?
I would say you don't get to come in with a class. You're making those relationships as kids commit with your class. So you're coming in with a class. And when you come in as a transfer, you're kind of all alone a little bit. And it takes a little longer to develop those relationships. I know for me, it's just, a kid coming from Bowling Green up to West Virginia, kind of like, who's this guy? Kid from Bowling Green, it's kind of hard. Instead of like maybe a guy from Alabama is transferring down, like, he's from Alabama. So it could go either way. But I would say developing relationships is a little tougher.
So do you come in with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder coming from a MAC program? And then we just talked to Alonzo. He's coming in from an FCS program. So you guys play with a little chip on your shoulder since you weren't maybe heavily recruited like Power 5 recruits are?
No doubt. That's really one of my whys. I play for my family, and then I play to prove a lot of people wrong. One offer out of high school, a lot of people said I couldn't play at this level. And that's all I've ever wanted to prove to people is that I can play at the highest competition.
Our next question we'll go back to Kevin Kinder.
Following up on that, Jarret, is quarterback the hardest position, do you feel like, to be a transfer and come in just because there is all of that extra attention on you? And did you do anything specifically when you came in to try to, learn about your teammates, get familiar with them?
Yeah, I mean, quarterback's tough either way, whether you come in as a freshman or a transfer, just trying to learn a whole new playbook, learn whole new, staff, develop relationships with all your players. But yeah, I mean, I tried to hang out with as many guys as I could, have a little cookout, take some linemen to eat, take some receivers to eat, and do everything I can to build those relationships.
Additional questions for Jarret? Looks like Jarret, we're back to Greg Hunter.
So Jarret, on the field, the offense this spring, anything different? I mean, you guys, you have a few new players, but you got a lot of guys coming back. So what'd you think of the offense in the spring? And then what do you try to do in the summer? You do the normal, hey, quarterback, get some workouts together. How's the summer go?
So this spring, I feel like it's just a lot more confidence in our whole offense. O-line, quarterback, running back, receivers. Overall, just a great confidence. I think we had a really great spring. Wasn't really a bad practice. Maybe an average practice, but I think that's when you're getting somewhere, is when you have an average practice over a bad practice. And then in the summer, we've been having some player-led practices. So I'll run the offensive player practice, and then the defense guys will run the defense player practice, and we'll do those about 3 times a week. So we're getting a lot better, and there's huge confidence in our offense right now.
Back to Kevin Kinder.
A couple of last ones from me, Jarret. With all of these things and NIL and all of the other things that are on college athletes right now, do you have enough personal time, to take a break and get away up from it? And the second thing is, does the beard last through fall camp and into the season?
All right. And now the first question, you always got to try to find just maybe a little downtime to have, some time to yourself. I would say that NLI stuff will come second for me. Football, personal health, mental health, family, all that will come. Then I'll check out the NLI stuff, but all that will come first. And if no one asked about the beard, I was going to say, come on, guys. No one's going to ask about the beard. But yeah, I'm rocking with it right now. I'm going to go through the season. Yeah. See how it goes. Doing a little mountain man action. My brother's growing it as well. So I'm just seeing how it goes.